Welcome back to another episode of Let Brad Fix Your Tractor. So while I'm waiting for parts for the engine, I'm going to start working on the transmission. So the issue with the transmission in this tractor is that when you throw it into gear, it doesn't go forward and it doesn't go backwards. Now these Ford tractors, they had 12-speed unsynchronized transmissions in them. And these are really nice transmissions, and they're very easy and user-friendly to use. You can just customize it to however you're driving, whatever you're driving. And this thing can creep at 1 mile an hour, and it can go as a top speed of almost 18 miles an hour, which 18 miles an hour in a tractor is pretty quick. So, yeah, but unfortunately, I have an issue because the primary drive between forward, reverse, and shift and select shifting your speed here, I am having a hard time actually getting into gear. So I have to assume that I spun a fork off of one of the rails. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm taking stuff off here so I can get in and see what's going on with the transmission. One thing I decided to do to make it easier for myself is to take the front loader off. So to remove the loader, you have a locking pin here, and I got these connections here. And then I can pretty much just drive the loader off. I will have to support this on the front end, but I think I'm gonna use the backhoe just to pull it out of the way. I got this sledgehammer at a garage sale from some guy named Doug. Haven't used Doug in a while. There we go. So I had to lower the tractor frame so I can get some space for the front drive shaft. And in taking this off, because we need to get to the oil pan so I can inline this thing. You got to remove these bolts, and you're going to have to pry. I used a big pry bar, and I pried around this collar and the bottom of the transmission box here, and she popped right off. So you're going to have about 5 gallons of fluid coming out of the thing, just as a heads up. But with this lowered, I can now pull it down more and then pull it out and get this thing out of here. That's the primary drive to the front axle, and got oil in there, so we're going to have to reseal that. That's one hell of a front axle. Crikey! Alright, so I took all the bolts out here so we can pop open this top plate to take a look at the gears inside the transmission. But in any case, you got to remove the boot off of this shifter here so you can take these Phillips out. You're going to have an Allen key here, or I should say you're going to have an Allen bolt here you're going to have to remove. And then I got this roll pin I got to punch out. So I'm going to do that now so I can lift up the inspection plate. So I'm having a hard time getting this shifter out, and I thought this was 2 pieces, but I'm starting to think it's not, and I think maybe the roll pin is just preventing this from actually flip-flopping all over the place like that. So, man, it's windy. In any case, I'm going to try to separate this cover off so you can see what's going on in here. other side. And that side's loose. Let's just pick this up and let's take this out. Just pop this off to the side. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so here is our tranny. Man, honestly, the gears look really good shape. Okay, this is to the PTO, the rear. Here we go. Okay, so that goes in the gear. Okay, it feels good. You feel it touching the rear, so that's cool. So let me try turning the tires, see if the gears go. Okay, so it's engaging there, so that's good. So it's spinning the rears. And okay, so let's go. That's into front-wheel drive, maybe? Okay, so now we're spinning everything. So that looks good. Now I'm in reverse. Okay. What the hell's going on here? I don't know. Transmission looks good to me. So what was the issue? So what's the issue then? So after further examination, my initial thought when I got the tractor is that one of these forks had snapped off. I've seen it before. It happened to my father's tractor, so that's why I know it can happen. And the transmission will just spin freely. But everything looks really tight and solid. I don't see any missing teeth on any of the gears. Actually, this transmission looks perfect. I've never seen a transmission on one of these tractors look better. Everything's nice, and I don't know, I'm actually feeling really good about it. So if the transmission looks good, why the hell won't this thing go into gear? So what I'm thinking the problem is with the tractor is actually with the clutch. I can't confirm without splitting the tractor in half, but I am pretty darn sure, looking at the transmission and seeing everything looks good, I have to assume there's an issue with the clutch somewhere. Now, these tractors come with this crazy huge clutch, and this is a brand new clutch off of my father's tractor. It's probably the same damn clutch for this 2110. It's real beefy, it's heavy as hell. I've never seen one so big before on a small tractor. But in any case, the only thing I can think is I probably, one of my pressure plates just completely blew apart to nothing, and I'm getting no grip anywhere. So this is your primary clutch, and you got a plate here, and the only thing I can think of is that literally this plate disintegrated, and it's just spinning freely. That's the only thing I can think. Or, you know, something happened to the actual pressure, the spring clutch itself, not applying proper pressure from the engine to the transmission. Because I do get some spin, but when there's a load, it will not spin. So let's take a deeper look at my father's tractor to see if we can try to simulate this. All right, so let's dive right into the front of my father's tractor, which I got to get back into. But so, look at all the shit in here. In any case, this is your primary drive, and this drive goes to your rear wheels. So when I turn this, notice this does not spin, but when I turn this, look at the rear there. You see how the rear is spinning? So that's what you want. That's your primary drive. And this is where one of your primary clutch plate grabs to. Your actual clutch and your spring mechanism rides on here. And when this spins, notice the tire does not spin. So my assumption is that that pretty much my clutch plate has to be snapped. And that's why the engine might be turning, but this is just spinning like this. So we'll have to see. The only way to tell is to actually split the tractor. And this is not fun, but it's the next step I got to take. So in order to properly split this tractor in half, I got to separate it here between the bell housing and the engine. So I got to take all those bolts off here. I have to disconnect the hydraulic lines, disconnect the fuel and the injector line. Let's go to the other side. I got to separate the steering arm. Got another hydraulic line I got to disconnect. And yeah, what a pain in the ass. All right, so I decided to drop the loader frame, and there's an inspection window here for me to take a look at the clutch mechanism, and I'm glad I did because it is covered in oil. I don't know if you guys can all see that, but there's oil at the bottom there. So I got oil bleeding from the transmission case to where the main clutch is. So I am gonna have to split this thing. Probably in multiple areas. You know, normally I would split it here in order to change the clutch, which I'm gonna have to do anyway. But when I get there, I'll have to take a look. I might have to split the housing here too, because it is apparent that we are leaking oil into the clutch itself. So a lot more work to come, guys. Nothing is as easy as it seems.